Earlier today, I had a thought that kind of tickled me. But I was just, I had a download thinking about the creation story in Christianity, right? And specifically the Genesis within, I would say, the NIV version of the Bible. I Obviously, there's like so many variations of the Bible, and I don't know how much the story changes, but just like the idea the idea of Eve, right, eating the fruit or getting tempted by the snake and eating the fruit, right, and then offering it to Adam, and then Adam eating the fruit. And I was just like, or what originally even got me to that point was I was like thinking about Lilith and how some people say that Lilith was actually the original woman, and how because she there's obviously so many variations to that story as well, but basically that she didn't want to submit to Adam. People, they say sexually, but like it's not even always about that, but just like for me, my interpretation, it's more of like the idea of submitting your power to someone that is not even your equal or like does the same as you. So it's like, why would I have to do that? Like, it's like, through my interpretation, it's like Lilith had both masculine and feminine energies, and Adam did as well, but was mostly masculine. And creation usually is born from nothing, which means that it probably actually originated from the woman first. Like, the woman created the man, and then now it's like, you're my creation, but then you're asking me to submit to you in, so many levels and ways, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Like, it doesn't make sense. So then either she gets kicked out, she goes, or whatever happens, then they create, Eve from Adam. So then it can be like, okay, it makes sense for her to be the quote unquote lesser being or submit to Adam because she came from Adam, right? But like, if it's like, if Adam came from Lilith, how can, like, why would she submit? You get what I'm saying? It's like, I made you, bro. Like, what the fuck? Like, I made you. Like, why would I do that? but but before that, I was just thinking like in the creation story, it's either like you're either Lilith or you're Eve. So it's either you are the power and you're demonized, or you are delusional and vulnerable and you succumb to the quote unquote evil or things happening. So it's like either you are the one running it or it's running you. That's what it gave. That was the original download. And then it got to the point where it was like, okay, so it was like God made Adam and then he made Eve, right? But my thing is like, okay, so if you just how my interpretation of how Christianity is in terms of like how they see God, like if God really was that, almighty, all knowing, omnipresent, why would you make beings that were vulnerable enough to even like be able, yeah, vulnerable enough to listen to outside influences. You know what I mean? It's like if you really was like that guy like, but if you really were like that being, you would know that there were other things that might attack your creation, and you would create like defenses or something within that creation so that creation would know not to do that. But it didn't do that, right? It didn't do that. And maybe that's because, oh, whoa, I just got that. Maybe that's because the other being, the serpent that influenced Eve, was also a god in some way, shape, or form. Because the way I'm thinking about it is, if it couldn't put defenses against that being, that means that it couldn't put defenses against itself. You know, like the way I'm interpreting it is like, because the creation that it created had to be vulnerable and naive. If it put defenses against the serpent, maybe it would be the same thing as putting it against itself. So it didn't put it against itself because, or against the serpent, because the serpent and itself were of somewhat of the same caliber of quote unquote power, right? I just gotta oh my god. I literally just gotta bro, confirmation rumble. So the serpent and the creation, or the being that created Adam and Eve, according to the story, were of the same power. So they were both gods. Okay, so that shows that there's more than one. Okay, so yeah, I was like, and then okay, now they want to blame Eve for doing that, right? And then now they just slap the label of original sin on all the descendants of Adam and Eve, instead of taking accountability for the creation you made. Because I'm thinking of it like this: like, if you were the creator, how are you gonna blame the creation for doing something when you had all the power to create it to not do that thing? You know what I mean? So then I'm thinking, so where did the story deviate from the truth, right? Because obviously the version that we have now is probably 9 times out of 10 not the original one. But my thing is like, at what point, because there is probably some truth to the story, or like this thing wouldn't exist, because that's the thing with religions and stuff. Like, they give some truth and then there's some delusion and illusion in it, and that's why it's allowed to be, you know, exist, I can say, or have such power, because they are giving some type of truth. Another confirmation.